Welcome, everybody, to the LIPSEY'S Aim Higher podcast. And across from me, Jason Kloster, Dale Luke, I'm Rob Aberzino. It's a special day today. It's Friday. It's late on a Friday, so we're all ready for a cold beer. But we've got a special guest. We've got a special project. We've got something really cool to talk about right here, right now. I won't even waste a lot of time. Let's cut to the chase. I have the one, the only, Adam Ruonala on the line. He is the National Marketing Director for Canik. Canik, also Century Arms, and we've got this cool project, and I want to bring Adam in. And Adam, you there?
I'm here, brother. Thanks for having me today, guys.
Yeah, man, glad to have you here. I know you're working hard today, and I appreciate you taking out a few minutes for us. And I think before we get into this this big reveal, we can talk a little bit about, I'll let you give us a little history on Canik and Century and how this partnership came about. We've discussed a little bit before, but let's bring the audience up to speed and kick it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the story of Canik is actually a pretty interesting one in itself. It started really as actually a grocery distributor in Turkey many, many years ago. Started their processes kind of like you guys did at the LIPSEY'S facility, which is unbelievable. They became very efficient and, were way ahead of their industry peers in regards to proficiency, both from packaging, mechanically, their process in terms of inventory, and they begin to adapt other industries as well. They started to get into robotics and they started to get into machinery. And when they did that, they realized they had the opportunity to get in the defense sector. So they started making guns, they started making projectiles, all kinds of things like that. And then they decided they wanted to get in the striker fire polymer game. And naturally, when you don't know a lot about it and you're just trying to get it on the market, they did what a lot of guys did, and they kind of took a clone into consideration and launched that. And we know it was that. We know that they came to the market in the U.S. trying to, get a foothold in. But frankly, it was, a first attempt. But everybody's seen a clone and everybody's seen an import. Then they started trying to get a little bit creative, and that's when in 2012 they ran into the owners of Century Arms, started talking about what they were doing, what they were evolving into, and ultimately what their grand plan for the United States market was. And it was something that really struck a chord with Century Arms. At that point, Canik was doing 200, 300, 400 guns a month in the United States. And now, just 10 years later, with Century and Canik hand in hand, we're doing 25 to 30,000 pistols.
That's
a
amazing.
month.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you guys are killing it. And with us, you've really rocketed up the charts. And I know Jason can speak to this. Over the past few years, it's really grown. And you were telling a story about how you kind of stumbled over Canik almost, through somebody else a few years back. And look where it's at now, especially for us in our catalog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but before we carried the line, I was at a training class with Ken Hackathorn. This is probably 6-7 years ago now. And during lunch, we were taking a break, and he said, "Hey, Jason, have you checked out these Canik pistols? What do you know about them?" And I was like, "Man, I haven't. I've seen ads and I've heard about them, but we don't carry them." And he said, "Man, a couple guys brought them to a class a couple weeks ago, and we shot them. And I kind of was watching them, and man, these guns ran flawlessly. I shot them. The triggers were awesome. They shot really good, and the price is like unbelievable. So you ought to go check them out." So the next week when I got back, I went to one of the local gun stores here in town that carried them and looked at them. I was like, man, this is a lot of gun for the money. And, and then I think a year or two from there, we started carrying them. And I tell you, ever since, they've just been skyrocketing up our popularity chain as far as what we sell. And I'm just amazed at how popular those guns have really been.
Mm-hmm. Well, far from a clone, as you mentioned, Adam. Not a clone at all anymore, and especially this one in particular we're going to talk about. And I'll let you announce it. Let's talk about the platform maybe when it was introduced, and then we'll get into the specifics of this exclusive.
So just so we're clear, I'm coming on your podcast, and you're giving me big reveal, Rob?
You're the guest of honor, dude.
I got to say, you are ever growing as a man, because the years I've known you, you would have 100% stolen the spotlight right now. So I am.
He's overwhelmed by your talent, Adam.
Yeah, well,
he's a little intimidated right now.
yeah, I'm just making up for past mistakes. But anyways,
You know,
Some recent.
it takes a big man. If we were having that cold beer that you referenced right now, I would buy your next one right now.
oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Great.
But we're not,
Okay.
because you decided to schedule this at 5 o'clock on a Friday.
right. Gotcha.
I do appreciate that. Well, yeah. So you know, like you said a minute ago, Canik is really known for its value. Like you said, all that's in the box, all you get for the price point. And you know, that's everything down to the extra grips, the sights, the different base plates for your optics. And let's be frank, one of the biggest things that is the Canik trigger. An interesting point before I get into what we're doing now is the initial Canik trigger was actually mush. And that was one of the things people complained about when they said, hey, like, this isn't a bad gun, but this trigger needs a lot of work.
I like how honest you are, by the way, you know, and talking about the earlier iterations of Canik and the progression and development of it.
Let's be honest, if you don't know where you came from, you're never going to appreciate where you are now and where you're going in the future.
Yeah.
And that's really where we are as a company. We appreciate our heritage, and we're even more excited about the future. And that comes in conjunction with learning from our customer and working with amazing partners like you guys. So
cool.
Yeah, so that was the main focus, was we are never going to hear again about this mush trigger. And it literally, after years and years of tests and results, we have what's known as a Canik trigger. So every time people talk about it, it really is just such music to my ears and everybody that's part of the Canik team, because it was such a focus. So with all that being said, you know, Canik has been great for years. The TP9 SFx has been the best-selling pistol we've had over the years, far exceeded anything we could have ever dreamed of at first. And then we said, all right, what is the next goal? What does the consumer want? What does Joe gun lover want when it comes to the next gun he bought? Whether it's the first Canik he's ever bought, or he loves Canik, but he wished Canik would do this. What is going to grab people's attention? And we said there's two dynamics that are the next level. One is how the gun looks. Let's call a spade a spade. We want our gun to look cool, and there's nothing wrong with that. And topic number two is we want the gun. Once we have the basic skill set to do what we need to do with a firearm, to properly operate it, to operate it safe, we want those little additions to the gun that actually help us perform better. And we know that there are things that you can do to different platforms to increase accuracy, proficiency, time on target, all those different kind of things that we want, especially when we're shooting competitively or just trying to be as proficient as we can for training. And those were the two goals that we focused on, and doing it at a price that people could afford, rather than having to do all these aftermarket additions or buying these custom guns that come with a big price tag. We wanted to do these things at the Canik price with the Canik value, and really be a disruptor in the market.
Well, you guys put a ton of thought into this, and you know, you're not chasing. You know, I don't hear, you know, it's a Me Too. You know, I guess all industries to some degree are Me Too industries or kind of lookalikes. But you know, from everything you're saying, I mean, just the thought process of going into this to the end user is pretty impressive, and we can see in the end product here how it turned out.
Well, you know, our motto is move fast and break things. You know, we're gonna make mistakes sometimes, but the fact of the matter is, in order to get to where we wanted to be, you can't follow somebody else. You got to listen to what your consumer wants. And, you know, everybody says, man, I love my TP9 SFx, but I wish it had this.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Taking notes when they did that. And after a lot of time and effort, a lot of mistakes, a lot of corrections, a lot of slight iterations, we launched the Canik Rival at SHOT Show 2022. And it was just gangbusters from day one. People were going nuts over it. You know, people, when can I get it? I want the first one. It was funny, you know, normally you're always, it's a laugh, but you're asking quote unquote social influencers, hey, will you take this gun? Will you do a review for it? We want you to talk. People were blowing up our inbox. When can I get this? What can
Right.
people that aren't even in the industry? We were getting, former Mr. Olympias and NASCAR drivers, and
Nice.
we were like, man, yeah, we're onto something. This is amazing. And the next thing we know, we're selling them. They're actually in the market. And we came out with 2 versions. We had the Rival, which was the Canik SFx Rival, which is the Canik Gray with the rose gold accents. And then for those more traditionalists, we had the Dark Side, and that's the all black model. And we said, these are your 2 options. You get Coke or Diet Coke. You get a red Ferrari or a black Ferrari. Those are what we're sticking to. We believe in this gun. We don't have to, we've already made it look cool enough. We don't have to kowtow to every, little slight demand out there. We're
Right.
proud of what we've done. And it just kept selling, and it just kept doing better and better. And then we had the opportunity, and I believe it was March, the Industry Choice Awards asked us to submit some entries on every dynamic, from optics to magazines to rifles to pistols, of something we'd be proud of that was a new release for 2022 that we would like evaluated by their pretty illustrious team of judges to see where it placed in terms of new products in our industry. And the judging panels are really interesting. They're everything from law enforcement to competitive shooters to former and current military to
That's
people
interesting.
that are,
Yeah. You get a wide swath of people.
Yeah, they even have people that are like more of a marketing expert that come in and evaluate the packaging and the aesthetics of the product, the usability of it, and they're also obviously still efficient in firearms, but maybe aren't as technical or tactical about it, and are more just from the everyday gun lover that somebody's going to walk into a store and go, "What do I like about this?
Right.
How do I like how it fits in my hand?" Not when you're having to do a one-handed re-rack or
Right.
it's something. It's more of when I go to the range, am I going to be proud of my purchase?
Right.
And so you have this wide range, and we wanted honest feedback. We wanted honest feedback more than we wanted anything. And then about a month ago, we got the call.
The call.
The call. And it was funny. It wasn't at 5 o'clock on a Friday. So obviously they cared a little more about us, that
Low blows.
Man.
I'm telling you, I get
like
cranky when I don't have a beer in my hand by 5 o'clock on a Friday.
10 rounds with Tyson this afternoon, man.
I guess I'm losing my touch. It used to only be 1 round with Tyson, So, but yeah, we get this call and they say, "You guys did well." We're like, "Awesome." Like, how do we do? And they said, "Well, you won." We won. Won what? They said, "You won Handgun of the Year with the Canik Rival."
That's awesome. Yeah.
And yeah, man, we were just so honored. It's actually the 3rd time in about 6 years that we've taken Handgun of the Year. But they said, we were like, "Wow, was it close?" And they said, "This year you kind of stepped it up, and it wasn't ever really close. The game was over halfway through."
Yeah.
And then we get all the reports. We get the reports from every judge on what they liked and disliked about every product. And it was just such a humbling read. It was such a humbling read. And so we announced it. We lightly, we didn't want to seem like we were bragging, and we've continued on with business.
Yeah.
And it's been about a month, and we were thinking, and we're sitting there, and, we're like, for the men and women that put countless years of effort into this product, for the customers that believed in us from day one and then believed us, the Rival, that were the first people to purchase it, from the marketing individuals, even the influencers that we were talking about that, were so integral in getting it out to the public and giving honest opinions on it, to our direct customers like LIPSEY'S that had the faith, this industry is up and down. And to get aggressive in terms of purchasing this so that then it can be available to dealers and then ultimately be available to the end user, LIPSEY'S had to make a serious financial commitment to us to be able to carry this product on something that was unseen, you know? And you guys did.
Yeah.
And you went in huge, and we wouldn't be where we were with this gun. We wouldn't be where we are as a Canik as a company, Century as a company, if it wasn't for amazing partners like you. And so we said, we've got to do something. Like, I know I'm going to look like I have crow. I'm eating crow. I've got egg on my face and all the other puns like that. But we've got to do something to pay some homage to this pistol and all the people and time that went into it. And that's when you and I started talking. We all started talking. And next thing you know, we're like, you know, we should have a trophy for this. We gotta raise it up a little bit. And here we are with an exclusive that is the Canik SFx rival in bronze, the trophy edition, the limited edition trophy edition that we're doing. And it's that two-tone, that sexy bronze slide and bronze accents all across with that black frame. And
we're commemorating the victory. You know, we're
commemorating. You know,
we had to.
There's nothing wrong with the trophy every once in a while. You don't necessarily got to take it everywhere with you, but it's really nice, even years down the road, to look up on the shelf and remember the memories and the journey that took to get there.
Can we drink out of the magwell? Isn't that what you do with like the Stanley Cup or whatever?
Put your hand over the chamber
that I still don't have. You know.
Yeah. No, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's a beautiful firearm, and we got to fortunate enough to to have one in advance, of course, and get out and shoot and get out and shoot it. I'm sorry, and we'll let Dale and Jason talk about that. But back to the packaging you referenced a minute ago. The packaging is so cool. Canik stuff is so cool that if you open this box and there was no gun in it, it's still pretty cool. I mean, everything else that's in there is really neat. And as a matter of fact, for any of you that may be listening, we have a video review, and Dale kind of unpacks the packaging so you can kind of see everything in it. But
except for the baby toolkit that's in there, because
you stole it?
I did. Well, no, I did want to keep it, but almost didn't get all the little pieces back in the grip.
Uh-oh.
So that's the only reason why.
It's a shame that most gun dealers won't be able to display the box, and all stuff in the shelf, because it's a really neat surprise for a lot of people when they get the gun, and they open it up and to put it back in the box and take it home. They're like, oh man, all this stuff came with it. This is cooler than I even thought it was going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a nice surprise to open and see all that, because we have a lot, and a lot of manufacturers don't include much, and this is definitely the exception. So I'm going to throw it to these guys real quick, Adam, and talk about, I guess, shooting, talk about some range time with it. So you guys jump in where you want. Dale, what are your thoughts on start where you like?
No problem. With this gun, this was actually one of the easiest striker fire pistols to shoot. It really was. We kind of touched base on the trigger itself. This is the finest striker fire trigger, it's in my book, on the market, and we've shot a bunch of them.
Yeah.
The fit and finish on it is impeccable. The accents of the bronze really stands out. I mean, even down to the trigger safety.
Yeah.
I mean, who puts Cerakote on a trigger safety?
Yeah.
And
nice.
colors it. I mean, just to add an accent point to it.
It's a really not to dog the red and black Ferrari, but this is really, really cool, Adam. I mean, this is probably the best color. Let's just be honest.
It's everything but yellow. You don't have not a yellow Ferrari.
Yeah.
The sights are so, I mean, they are a true target sight. You do have a lot of room on the front sight. You really got to be careful on how you line it up and truly pay attention to where it's sitting into the rear sight, because this thing is accurate.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a lot of the guns we've been focused on in the industry in the last 10, 15 years have been small, subcompact, concealed carry stuff. It's fun to get a gun that's actually just awesome to shoot at the range.
Yeah.
Something that's full size, 5-inch barrel gun.
Something that's enjoyable.
Yeah, something that you can go and shoot at distance, shoot at speed, and not spend a fortune on, and have really out of the box. There's nothing you need to do to this gun. And the thing about Canik is they put every little piece you can think of in with it, whether it's the adapter plates for the optic. They even have a little screw-in peg to be able to work the slide with, you have an optic on it off to the side. I mean, you really thought of everything with this thing. But this bronze color really is popped. And we've done a lot of exclusives with Canik in the bronze in different models. So it's been kind of our signature with the Canik line is to do these bronze guns. But on this one in particular, I think it really it really pops the most, because I love the way, I'm not a huge fan of slide cuts and all the crazy serrations in general, but for some reason on this gun, I love it.
It's fierce.
It's the way they did it. Yeah, it reminds me of like an old like P-51 Mustang from the World War II or something like that. Just the way it looks, and it's just cool looking. With the black barrel and everything sitting in there with the cuts, it looks good without being gaudy. And Canik, I remember when we were speccing it all out, the details, and we're like, can we? You always ask for everything and hope you get 75% of it.
Right.
And every time we said, well, can you do this in the bronze? Yeah, sure, no problem. Can you do this in bronze? Oh yeah. They even do the extra pieces in bronze. They even add 2 extra floor plates in bronze. So if you buy extra magazines, your floor plates will match the ones that come with the gun. So
and magazine releases.
Yeah, the magazine, all the extra magazine, they just did it all. And so it was really, Canik was so easy to work with on this deal, and they've just been great partners. It's one of our best handgun lines that we have. And
Adam, is that you guys just trying to push competition out of the way? I mean, just kind of going that distance, you know what I mean?
Well, like I said, I mean, we wanted to be a disruptor, and we wanted to say, listen, you don't have to spend $2,500 to have everything you need to be successful on the range. And that's what I mean. We named it the Rival. The Rival stands for a lot more than just, your rival on your rival on the pitch. It also means we're coming in. We want to be a player in this industry, and we're going to prove it by bringing the best value.
Yeah, that's
and I really think you did with this gun.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the way that it feels, shoots, all the above, cosmetics. I think it's a true home run.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other thoughts? Range thoughts on it? I mean, you guys put some rounds through it for sure. I did too. I mean, I absolutely loved it. And Adam, I know you've shot it, and we can put your bias aside a little bit. But I mean, what are your thoughts on actually, handling the gun, shooting the gun, and so forth?
Yeah, I tell you, the first thing I noticed is, it is a very different feel. So the gun comes with an aluminum diamond cut 90-degree break trigger. So that trigger actually, it's not just a flat trigger like you see in a lot of guns. It actually breaks at 90 degrees. And that was a request of our world champion shooter, Nils Johannesson. He is 5-time, I think now, world champion in multiple divisions, like 8-time national champion. I mean, the guy's just, his credentials just keep growing year and year. He's like 31 years old and he's already crushing it. But he was like, I want this 90-degree trigger, and I want it crisp, I want it an easy pull, and I want a really short reset. So it's got a 3.6 pound break on the trigger and a 1.3 millimeter reset, meaning that gun breaks, that gun fires, the muzzle rise on it's minimal. It's not snappy at all. It comes back down because of that ported slide and fluted barrel, and then reset real quick, right back on target. It makes you feel like you're a professional, competitive shooter out the box. But that trigger takes a little getting used to. It's something that's very different in a very good way. You get out there, I don't know how many of you guys golf or any sport, you get a new club or anything. The first time you hit it, you can feel the difference no matter where the ball goes.
Right.
You're like, wow, there's something different here. And it's exciting. So the first time I shot the gun, I was like, oh man, we've got something here. And it's just got the features, everything from that to the double undercut trigger guard, the redesigned beaver tail that really seats your hand in nicely, the really aggressive grip texturing. And to be frank, the gun's completely modular. So even with all the iterations we've done, it's got 4 easy in, easy out push pins. So just a punch that comes with the gun, you can punch it in and completely disassemble that gun using only a punch in a matter of minutes and then reassemble it. So as complex as it is in terms of what we did to make it efficient and one of the best guns out there, especially for the money, it's still easy to take down and service your platform.
That's awesome, man. You guys have kind of any final thoughts? Anybody contemplating their first Canik? And what do you want to say to them? What kind of advice would you give?
I actually am for just a range beater, plate stomper. Yeah, definitely. This is in my wheelhouse now. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, somebody that's in the market for a gun to have some fun with.
Yeah,
it's a really solid choice. It gives you everything you need. You don't have to send it off. You don't have to go buy a bunch of stuff.
Right.
It's a natural if you want to put an optic on a gun. This gun's a fantastic platform for it, and it's very easy to set it up. So, if somebody that's, like Dale was saying, for somebody who wants to go out and shoot and have fun and go to the range, maybe challenge themselves, maybe go pick up a IDPA match somewhere or something like that, then this is a really good choice for them to get into that. So I highly recommend it. Check it out. We're getting these guns are coming in now, and we're committed to doing running these Caniks, and even though this is a limited edition, we plan on ordering a bunch of them.
Well, I'll tell you, Adam, we love this project. We're gonna sell this gun like crazy. I know it. I mean, it's going to be a great mover for us, and we really appreciate the partnership and certainly your time today on this late Friday afternoon, as you've reminded me so many times. So, any closing thoughts that you have?
No, man, we're just so honored to be a part of this project with LIPSEY'S. We're so honored to have received the accolades that we have from the industry. We're so honored by the consumers that have supported us with their hard-earned dollars and trusted us to carry our firearms. And we're just excited to see where this goes, not only with the Canik SFx Rival Trophy Edition, but just where we're going to go in the future. And we couldn't do it without all of you guys. It's great to be on this podcast today. And frankly, I'm going to celebrate being a part of this with you guys today when I do have my first cold beer of the day. So,
all right, good.
As much as I give you a hard time, thanks for having me, brother.
Making a double. Thank you, Adam. We really appreciate it. And guys, you know where to find us on all the social platforms at LIPSEY'S Guns on Facebook and Instagram. Check out the YouTube channel. We've got another video review of this where we've got some range shots, and Dale gets to take the box apart, and we handle the gun a little bit more. So check that out when you can. Excuse me. And guys,
let's go home.
Happy Friday.
The week's over. Until next time, aim higher.